I forgot to put myself in there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what will be the last live stream 2023. Imagine that, and what a year it's been. I very nearly ended up being late because I was quite wrapped up in a game of Monopoly until about 8:30 with young Jack. We introduced him to it 4 or 5 days ago, and he has been completely and utterly addicted ever since. It's absolute crazy stuff, unbelievable, and he's just screwed me out of £3,000 worth of Monopoly money before I came out. I would call that beginner's luck, and we'll have to wait and see if that luck continues. But meanwhile, I just want to wish everybody season's greetings, Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody had a good time with their families and their loved ones. And of course, Happy New Year to everybody as well. And let's hope that despite what we read, 2024 is something very good for a lot of people. And there's not the doom and gloom that a lot are expecting. If you're just here and you've just arrived, please hit the like button, because that helps the algorithm shove the live stream around everywhere. And yes, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Now let's start. Have a few hellos. Blue Angel, Chris Card, Gary Thornbury, loads of regulars as usual. Pete, Cosmic Water, I love this. All right, you lot. Yeah, I'm all right. Absolutely fine. Julie Baldwin, hello to you. Ryan, good to see you. Mark and Janice, Chris Hind, Jason Hughes, Bloodnose as always. Jody. Mum's in the chat. Hey, Gene Whitehead Avon representative. My mum isn't feeling very well. She's got a cold and is spending the New Year's sat indoors with her mate. So hello to both of those. And she didn't want to go spreading the lurg everywhere. So I hope she is okay. Hello, Jody. What's this? You're in here now. Face red, droopy eyes, the DJ Myra. Is that supposed to be an emoji that didn't come out right? Lynn Barry, muted. I wonder why you're muted. Okay. Sally Dimmock, you rang me lady. Andy, there's a few different ones in here as well. And Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Good to see you. Well, I don't know what everyone's planning for tomorrow, New Year's Day. We've got, the mother-in-law round. We're just going to have a bit of food and then back to normal after that. It's strange, isn't it? Because you get the build-up, you get the Christmas and everything else out of the way, and then it's just, okay, on we go, normality. Now, let's have a look at some of the comments, see who we've got already. Blue Angel, hi Andy in chat, and small spanners. I'm assuming small spanners, you mean the mods, the channel mods that keep all the people out that shouldn't be in here. But good evening. Thank you very much, Blue Angel. Make sure you've all got a drink on as well. It won't be New Year's Eve without it. I actually had a friend of mine earlier who was undecided as to whether to take up an invite to go to his neighbours upstairs for a New Year's Eve drink and wanted me to make the decision for him. I said, up you go. Go on, op it. Pete, evening all, as 2023 fades. Let's hope 24 is a massive improvement. I couldn't agree with you more, Pete. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But I tell you what, it was last year or the year before. We'd done Christmas. Everything was sorted out. And, put the kids out to bed. Jack went up. And I sat there with my wife. And we watched the news. And we just looked at each other and thought, what the hell was that? So much doom and gloom. It was absolutely ridiculous. And there's probably more of the same. That's why on Christmas Day, I tried to do a couple of good stories. Gary Thornbury, I saw on the news that London is having riots. Have they got it under control? I was first aware of that when Maya Tusi brought it to everybody's attention on his YouTube channel. Now, I did see this earlier, although I didn't check the date I'll bring it up now so we can see what's going on. Now, this is dated December the 30th, so that is yesterday, and you can see there what is going on. I'll make it full screen. So we got Eritrean protesters attack riot cops with sticks in South London. Protesters have clashed with police in South London after a demonstration related to tensions in the community, Scotland Yard says. Footage of the incident in Camberwell appeared to show protesters wielding sticks clashing with Met police officers, bringing traffic to a standstill. 8 people were arrested for offences, including violent disorder, criminal damage, possession of an offensive weapon, and assault on an emergency worker. 4 officers were injured, one of whom was taken to hospital and has now been discharged. There's another picture there of what was going on. You know, this is happening more and more on our streets, isn't it? It's a pretty sad state of affairs. Still a heavy police presence on the scene in Camberwell. Bear in mind, this is as of yesterday. Demonstration saw approximately 50 people gathering outside a private venue before trouble broke out. The incident is said to have taken place near the Lighthouse Theatre, with trouble breaking out following a dispute between 2 different groups of Eritrean embassy, which is located nearby. A dispersal order has been put in place. You can see there some of the trouble. I'm not going to play that video, but all the information's on there. The Met Police's Southwark Police account on X posted an update about the situation. Officers are on the scene in Camberwell Road, SC5, where there's a protest with approximately 50. Additional officers are on the way. So that is, well, the basis of what happened, the long and short. But we're seeing more and more of this, aren't we, in our cities, and it appears to be the same old. And it does concern me. Are we going to see more of this, or you know, is it going to calm down? But it's the argument, isn't it? It's the argument. What's going to happen? What do we need to do to stop it? And what utter bullshine are those in power going to come out with, promising us the earth and telling us that it's all going to stop? No, I don't think so. It's going to carry on. That's a crazy thing. Now, there's a couple of things that are going to happen with this channel fairly soon in the new year. I will be bringing you some ULEZ updates. Hopefully, there'll be some big news coming about that. And you know, I'm privy to information already. I'm actually sitting on information, and I'm waiting for the get-go. You know, so they can tell me. I can go ahead and let everybody know what I know, and that will be a good day. We're starting to do a bit with the child maintenance service, you know, trying to expose all the trouble there. I'll be doing an interview with Noel Wilcox in the new year, hopefully fairly soon on, because he is heavily involved in that. Also, I did a video, yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday, about a piece that was on GB News to do with the child maintenance service, where they were talking about the financial irregularities and the fact that all these millions of pounds potentially might not even exist, and the trouble and grief they are causing families, you know, separated families, and leading some to make the ultimate decision to end their misery, is the most diplomatic way I can say it. Now, one of the people that's involved in this is Ian Briggs, and his son, unfortunately, you know, succumbed to the grief that the child maintenance service caused and took his own life. I've exchanged emails with Ian, and I hope to have him on here for an interview stroke chat in the first couple of weeks of January. So I'll try and set that up, and obviously anybody else as well. It will be good. I want to try and do a few more sit-ins and lives and everything next year, and expand on that a little bit. Let's go back to the comments and see what everybody's doing. Okay, Pete. We can do, but hope as pensioners a bit more money would help. But it goes to the illegal boat clan instead. Yeah, I caught that conversation when I signed in, Pete. And I see what you were all saying about the money not going where it should. And I think it was Reverend Simon Sideways on YouTube actually put, there was a video piece or a photo of them being handed brand new mobile phones as soon as they came off the boats. That was unbelievable. But it's happening, isn't it? It's happening. And it will not change. In fact, it will get worse if Labour gets in. I've seen Carol Vorderman and others doing their best to blacken the name of the Conservatives. You know, we've had 10 years of this. Well, a lot more than that, 13, 14 years by now, and we need to get them out. Unfortunately, I think they're all two cheeks of the same arse. Let's have a quick poll. If you think that we'll be any better off with the other party, give me a 1. If you think that the whole system is shot, give me a 2. Now, I would expect to see a lot of 2s. It's just pathetic. It really is. And something needs to give. Yeah, 2. 2. Lord Jim Dandy, 2024. At least it ain't 1666. 2. And that is a cross section of, you know, regular people just chatting to a taxi driver. And you imagine if you put this show out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, it would all be 2. It's poor state of affairs, isn't it? Poor state of affairs. The problem is, I mean, Chris has said that Tories out. I appreciate the sentiment. They need to be out. But then what goes in their place? Labour? It's the same old system that's failed us again and again and again and again over the years. And until we learn, or until enough people get the message that you can no longer vote for that has failed us, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And yeah, 131 people on here, mainly saying the same thing. Bring back Dominic Cummings, Garin says. Well, he had a few things to say in that inquiry, didn't he? Better the devil we know, Pete says. But they are a devil, aren't they? They are a devil. And I notice over the years, one side often sets the other side up for failure and then blames them when it's their turn. It's just a constant merry-go-round of confusion and bullshit. It really is. Yeah. Lord Jim Dandy. There's my favourite scene out of the film Cromwell, when Richard Harris, as Oliver Cromwell, stomps into Parliament and he says, you know, I left you this to make honest decisions, and look what you've done to it. Get out. You know, clear them all out. And unfortunately, we're never going to see that, but, you know, I found that very, very good. Yeah, comments are playing up a little bit, apparently. But we'll see how we're getting on. Let's go back and have a look at some more. Cosmic War Toad, if Nostradamus was right, human civilization won't see 2025 the way politicians, especially Biden, Putin, and Jinping, are carrying on. Frightening, isn't it? I mean, Nostradamus got a lot of predictions right. You know, what they were actually doing. You know, this recent prediction seems to be a little bit late, but we'll have to see what happens. Moorhen, hi all. Thanks, Andy, for the videos over Christmas. You're very welcome. I mean, you know, we're all having our Christmas and everything, and I realised that I could have just stopped and thought, sod it, I'll come back in January. But there are people out there that are on their own and still need Andy the Gabby Cabby. So I get out there and I do what I can do during the time. So it's all good. We've all drunk too much. We've all eaten too much. And I can't wait to get back to healthy eating and everything else. So there we go. Let's have another look at a piece of news that I came across as well. I want to look at net zero or all this environmental stuff. I found a news piece that amused me. I'll bring this up. Military shuns heat pumps and replaces them with cheaper electric boilers. Yes, I think we might see a lot of this going forward. Project was launched in 2020 to find alternatives to heat pumps. The military is removing heat pumps from soldiers' homes and replacing them with cutting-edge electric boilers, which cost less to run. The campaign, named Project Nixie, has been searching for alternatives to heat pumps since 2020. Well, they're not efficient either in this environment we're in either. Just a very small proportion of military homes have been fitted with heat pumps, as the Ministry of Defence's MOD domestic building stock is not suitable. The project was launched to find a cheaper alternative to heat pumps, according to an MOD spokesman. It's been reported that 4 homes at the Duke of Gloucester Barracks in South Kearney, Gloucestershire, are being fitted with silo boilers as part of a test pilot due to start early in 2024. Silo is a fridge-size, emission-free electric boiler, cheaper to run and more effective than a heat pump. The eco boiler uses a pressurized water tank as a thermal battery, which uses off-peak and cheap electricity to create a heat reservoir. Currently, the cost stands at 20 grand per unit, but producers believe this will decrease. I mean, this is the kind of thing, isn't it? It's a bit expensive at the moment, but if enough of it goes out, products not available commercially at the moment, but can be sold to big landlords such as government departments and councils. According to the documents, the MOD paid around 5 grand to install each of the 4 trial devices. They suggest that combining an electric boiler with solar panels, which is being tested, would see an 18% lower annual running cost than a heat pump. Now, that is a big chunk of change, isn't it? Silos makers Remit Zero claim that the device can last for 40 years. That is a bit more like it. You know, we've heard of lots of problems with these heat pumps where they're not working, they're not efficient, or anything else. Handy Andy, that's the thing with the military. They like things that actually work. Absolutely. Net zero, the unattainable myth. The only way you could achieve total net zero is if we all stop breathing, and then you get net zero. Jim Watson, only the rich can afford net zero off the backs of the working class who can't afford it. The greedy. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. Who remembers David Bellamy? You know, big bushy white beard. I'm catching up with him. I haven't had a shave in a couple of days. Give me a 1 if you remember David Bellamy. Yep. Well, he said that there's no such thing as this global warming or whatever you want to call it. The Earth goes round in cycles and it will right itself again eventually. And as soon as he said that, they cancelled him. Who knew, huh? Yeah, Michael, you got it exactly. That is exactly right. He was shut up. So there you go. The experts know. They know. This is the daily chat of Andy the Gabby Cabby, everybody, on New Year's Eve. If you haven't done so, please hit the like button and show the love for the channel. If you are new here and just started watching, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Very much appreciate the support and all the support I've had from everybody over the course of the year. We're absolutely flying. I'm getting up to, well, near 70,000 subscribers. So we're doing well, doing very well indeed. Now, I'm going to have a look at another couple of comments, and then I just want to try and clear out my stock, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Rosalind, hi everyone. Happy New Year, Andy. Been watching for quite a while and enjoy your channel very much. So thought about time I said hello. Hi, Ros, and welcome. I'm glad you enjoy what I'm doing, and I appreciate the support very much. Next one, Retro Girl, hello to you. Southwark is an absolute cesspit. I avoid at all costs. I'll tell you, there's places now where I wouldn't dream of going. I don't know about anybody else. Jason Hughes, trouble with the illegals and those who wave that stupid flag, distributed members of public going about their business. It all needs to stop. Absolutely. I mean, was it Christmas Day or no? It was the lead up to Christmas. It was either that or the Boxing Day sales where we had a situation where they were on the streets disrupting trade. And we're like, well, how the hell has this been allowed to happen? Nuts. Lord Jim Dandy, Andy, have you heard anything about Martin Sullivan? I am glad somebody has finally asked that because I shall divulge. I have, and I'm not the only one. There was about 2 or 3 of us that I know of that he emailed to basically say, I'm okay. I'm absolutely fine. Don't worry about me. And when I pressed him to find out where he'd been, it wasn't forthcoming. So I didn't ask any further. But the fact is, I have had an email from him and he is okay as of the point of that email. So that's a relief. Anybody, that had Martin. I did have Martin on the channel, did like a live interview where he had his own YouTube channel at that point. But, at least I've heard from him. That's the main thing. It was quite out of the blue, actually. Wasn't expecting it. Mark and Janice, Happy New Year to you. Labour would be so much worse than what we have now. Carol Vorderman is similar to Gary Lineker. Totally out of touch bubble. They all are, aren't they, really? They all are totally out of touch. Carol has become the anti-Tory mouthpiece. That is very much the thing. And you can see that she's been doing a stint on LBC. And it's all well and good exposing the bad dealings of the Tories and everything else. I'm all for rooting out corruption and putting in front of you what's really going on. But at the end of the day, what's it going to achieve? What are we going to end up with instead? Surely we should be looking at the fact the whole lot's shot and the whole lot needs to go away. I don't know if you agree with that. Let me know. Peter Snowling, doesn't matter who's in power, the other side won't agree with anything they say. So to coin a phrase, we're all doomed. Don't panic, don't panic. That was the other one, wasn't it? Absolutely. Hi, Andy. Got parking fine from Gemini. Any thoughts? First thought, who's Gemini? Is that a debt collector or is that a private parking company where you've gone and parked at the supermarket or McDonald's or something and they find you? I'll pull up the website in the background, which will be able to help with that while you answer the question. So bear with me just a second. I think I found it. Yep. I'll just wait for you to tell me what you're going to tell me, and then I'll show you the information. Cosmic Wartoad, anybody get any tasty post-Christmas reductions in the supermarkets? You know what? I did my bit with Christmas shopping, and I avoided the shops after that. I thought it was going to be a right utter pain in the arse. I didn't go anywhere near it. We went to View. Hang on, David. Really appreciated your efforts over Christmas. My wife was taken into hospital on the 20th. She will be there for a while. Oh my God. Well, all the best to you, David, and I hope your wife makes a recovery. And I'm glad there was something to watch to keep you company in a small way. So I hope everything works out okay for you. And obviously, let me know. Michael Hancock. I'm more interested in what's happening on Earth than BS pie in the sky. Well, everybody is, Michael. Everybody is, that's for sure. I just want to divert to another subject at the moment. Now, I have a guy whose nickname is the Northern News Hound. That's what he calls himself. And he is one of the people that helps me in the background with news stories and bits and bobs like that. And he was kind enough to produce a load of merchandise for me a short time ago, including some T-shirts. See, you got 007. There's actually a Bond movie on tonight as we speak, the last one that Daniel Craig was in. And I've got a load of leftovers. Now, I've got these, and if I open the box up, I'm all fingers and thumbs. Limited edition Andy mugs. I've got 4 of these. The other standard ones went. And also, I've got T-shirts. I've got a small handful of T-shirts. Now, a few people did email me about these before, but I didn't act on it because I wanted to save it all till now. I've got T-shirts as well. Pretty much what's behind you there on the screen. That's what they look like. Now, what I want to do, I want you to email me. Email me if you want a mug and you want a T-shirt. And the person that said how much, there's no charge. I just want to get rid of them. I want to do a giveaway, limited edition mugs, 4 left, and a load of T-shirts. So if anybody would like anything, send me an email, contact@andyclifford.online, and it's first come, first serve. And you know, if you get there first, I'll get it out to you. But once they're gone, they're gone. I just need to get this bag of stuff out the way. Mediterranean Media. Okay, never seen you before. Hello, Andy. Hello to you. What's your Cabby like, and who's Gabby? Your wife. Yes, thank you very much for that. Well, my Cabby, I'm the Cabby. My cab is a big minibus, and my wife can be as Gabby. So yeah, well, we're both Gabby together, I suppose. I'm new. Yeah, I thought you was. I've not seen you before. So welcome to the channel. Let's go and have a look at the other comments that we've got here. Lots of fireworks going off here in Reading. It's not even 12 yet, and I'm trying to comfort my poor dog. About an hour ago, we had some being set off over the back of our place as well. And we have had sporadically over the Christmas period them actually going off. So we will have to see what happens with them. But I expect about midnight they'll all be going crazy, won't they? Ujimi Flip, we had a professional in to survey for a heat pump install. He told us it wasn't worth the outlay as we don't store enough heat in the ground during the summer months at the right depth. Yeah, this is the problem. There's ground sourced heat pumps, isn't there, where they pull the heat in from the ground, and then there's air sourced heat pumps where they pull the warm air in from, well, effectively the atmosphere. That's how I understand they work, the 2 different types. And we just don't have that climate, do we? We just don't have it. It's an expensive quagmire. It really, really is. And it needs to go, definitely. Hard Tulip, Tony Blair shut up and sacked a university professor that worked for him because he publicly said that alcohol was the most dangerous drug. Yeah, you don't want people exposing things. You get rid of them. And it's not the first time, is it? Talking about that particular individual, and I won't go too far down that line because I'll get myself in trouble. But those of you old enough and ugly enough to remember will probably realise what I'm referring to a great many years ago now. Bridget, Happy New Year to you as well. Bridget, BCTV, a different videographer with opinions. She did a little video earlier saying she's on 345 subscribers and would really like to get to 350. I did do a thing, community post saying, could we help her out and try and get her there by New Year's Day? There's only 5 left when I last looked, so hopefully we can get her across the line, which will be great because she works hard at her channel. So let's see if we can help her. Jason, Compost Corner with David Bellamy on Tiswas in the 70s. Oh, brilliant. I mean, you got all these people, didn't you? David Bellamy, Chris Tarrant, Noel Edmonds, and all people of that ilk started around the 70s through the 80s. That's where I really first started seeing them because that was my childhood, the 80s and the early 90s, which is where I grew up. And then they all just vanish into thin air as if they were never there. It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. Another news story for you, which I thought was crazy, all to do with benefit fraud. And I want to know how they got away with it. Man who claimed benefits for 200, yes, you heard that right, 200 fake children ordered to pay back 2 million quid. Ali Bana Mohammed, 42, faces a 9-year prison sentence if he does not repay the cash in 3 months. A man who stole the identities of almost 200 children has ordered to repay more than £2 million. Faces a 9-year prison sentence if he does not repay the cash in 3 months, the DWP has said. Well, I think the DWP have got larger problems they've got to worry about as well. Child Maintenance Service. He was jailed in 2022 for masterminding a scam which cheated taxpayers out of 1.7 million. Mohammed's relatives and friends submitted bogus claims under 70 different names and used the fake birth certificates of 188 children. This was so they could receive child benefits and tax credits. HMRC noticed calls from the same 2 phones were repeatedly in what they thought were unrelated claims. They launched an investigation called Operation Paratrooper and found Mohammed and 6 others had submitted child benefit and tax credit claims under 70 different names between 2007 and 2016. Now, I've got to ask, how come it's taken this long to catch up with him, unless it's been an ongoing investigation? Mohammed even kept handwritten notebooks detailing his fraudulent activities, hid them in his wardrobe. He admitted 29 offences and was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison in 2022. It would have been longer, but he'd already served 16 years for drugs and immigration offences. Liverpool Crown Court ordered him to pay just over 2 million quid at a confiscation hearing. 6 of the fraudsters who helped him receive jail sentences totaled to no more than 13 years. Work and Pension Secretary Mel Stride said, our welfare system is pre-dedicated on fairness. Bullshit. And we will make sure that those who need our help receive it, and those who want to expose the system face justice. So as benefit fraud becomes more sophisticated, so must we. The latest case is a testament to the tenacity of our expert anti-fraud squad, who saved a hard-working taxpayer £1.1 million last year. Well, you might be a hard-working squad, but how the hell have you allowed a situation where someone can have it on their toes of all that money? his punishment, pay it back. What a joke. Kick him out should be the thing. Yeah, Lord Jim Dandy. Sorry, I beat you to it there. I mean, yeah, just one of many. You're right. Absolutely right. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? They're going far too soft on people like this, far too soft. And it sends a message that others can get away with it. And it carries on. Who didn't realise this before it got to 2 million? Calibre of civil service. Absolutely right. Couldn't agree with you more. An unrelated story that I will relay to you about something that happened locally. Many years ago, there was a taxi company locally. I'm not going to name them, and I'm not going to name the managing director, but if by chance they watch this, they'll know I'm talking about them. What this company did, it provided school transportation for special needs kids throughout the area. They would bid for these transport contracts off of the local council, get paid a very large amount of money every month to go and do their job. And, you know, there were taxi drivers, there were school escorts and all this sort of thing. And one particular month, this guy who ran this company got paid thousands. And instead of paying his drivers, paying his escort staff and everything else, do you know what he did? He took the money and ran. It was a big fraud, a very big fraud. And because of the way he'd set up his tax affairs, i.e. funneling everything through a limited company, he got away with it. Years later, this same individual reappears, and now he's an airport transfer company, and he's trying to set up, he's used false names and false identifications to get licenses from councils who shouldn't be licensing him at all. And he's operating again. So you do wonder what due diligence actually happens when people apply for licenses and all that sort of thing. It really is crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, it goes on all the time, doesn't it, to different levels of complexity. And they get away with it until they get caught. It's the same with any kind of fraud where people try and raise money under false pretenses. They end up getting cocky, and then they'll do it again and again and again. And eventually, of course, they get caught and they get done. And I get the feeling next year there's going to be one or two individuals that are going to fall straight into that category. And I'll be there to watch when they do. So that's that. Anyway, we're coming up to 40 minutes. We've got 192 people watching. If you're one of those that hasn't hit the like button, please do so, because as I always mention, it helps the algorithm push the chat around. It's very much appreciated. Now, I mentioned parking earlier. Somebody said that they got a fixed penalty notice off of a parking firm. And I just want to show you this website, which can deal with that sort of situation. You know the thing, you park somewhere in a car park or you drive in somewhere and you're not you're not aware of any regulations or anything like that you should be obeying, and then you end up with a fine. Well, this is a website called Beat the Bailiffs, which I've spoken about many times before, and they've got different sections on dealing with different things. And here you've got private or council parking, and this details the different kinds of penalties you've got and how you deal with them. And you know, when you get these penalties, and particularly if they stop bothering you, that's great, but they can go all the way to the wire, threaten court action and all this sort of thing. You think, oh, and part with money that you might not necessarily have to. This website does help you very much get through that problem and get through those issues. And there's a lot of guidance and a lot of letters. And trust me, despite what anybody says, they do work. They really do. I'll tell you what, I've had a problem lately. When I talk for 40 minutes, my throat goes. So, needs lubricating. Right, let's have a look at some more of these comments. Ujimmy Flip. We all need a working class prime minister who hasn't amassed millions in his or her lifetime. Someone who has known real struggle. You know what? I agree with you. And it's not only the prime minister, it's all of them. All of them. Because, inevitably they end up in families that have got some kind of influence, or they end up in a situation where they go to university to study politics or history or anything like that, or all degrees. There's nothing wrong with any of them. They get an internship at Westminster or an internship under an MP, and they get into the political system that way. They have a single idea in their head how a real life job works or how real life works, and they go about it and think they know best, and they know how to guide and do everything for all of us. Doesn't work. And then you get the likes of Sunak, hedge fund managers in charge of millions of pounds, always had wealth, doesn't know what it's like to struggle. And again, they're in a position where they think they know what's best for us. No. So somebody in there with an idea of what it's like, I think, is a very good idea. Cosmic Wartoad. The Coe was selling bars of Snowball Terry's chocolate orange for 50p and big tubes of Smarties fruit pastels and Maltesers for 91. Wow, that's cheap these days, isn't it? That's probably the clear out. Excellent. Well. Look who we got here. Martin Sullivan. Hi, I'm totally fine. Just taking some time out. Thank you, Martin, for coming up and saying that. That's brilliant. You've obviously still got people worried about you, and it's good to see you popped in to say hello. Happy New Year to you too. Julie, we've got a fresh free-range large chicken for £2, a large gammon shank with a treacle glaze for £3, and it was delish. We got a gammon in our fridge tomorrow with some kind of orangey glaze over it. We're going to shove that in the slow cooker, see how that works out. So that will be cool. What else we got here? Daniel Craig, the most boring 007, Bar Brady. He's the one that's on the telly at the moment. I think it was his last. It was his last film he did as Bond, and I'm still waiting to find out who the replacement's going to be. So that could be interesting. I hope they don't wokeify it all and send it silly like they've done with other things. I still haven't bought myself to watch the new Doctor Who yet, because a couple of the clips of that I saw, I think, oh my God, no. David L. Andy, sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't, and that's why I respect you and your great work, and you're a good dad. Total respect bringing the CSA to the channel. Thanks and all the best. You too, David. I appreciate the comment there, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? We're not going to agree on everything all the time. All I can do is just bring to you what I believe needs bringing to the fore. We talk about it. Either you agree with me or you don't. I'm getting a high level of what I would call dickheads on the channel lately, who sit behind the keyboard and come out with some spiteful nonsense, thinking that, they can say what they like. And I'm afraid you'll just get shown the door. If you've got a disagreement, there's a respectful way of doing it. You do it, we talk about it, end of. Generally, with the dickheads I mention, I ignore them, but every now and again I do call them out because it's fun watching the reaction. But there you go. Cosmic Wartoad. Why are Taylor's pork and ready cooked small gammon joints only sold at Christmas? I haven't got a clue about that one. I'm sure you will enlighten me. Mark and Janice, good to see Richard Robes looking much better. Yeah, I watched a couple of his videos. I was a little bit concerned because he was very, really under the weather and down, wasn't he? And I did wonder what was going on there, but he's looking a bit more like his old self. He's done a lot of work on, trying to look outside the system, is the best way of putting it, with regard to council tax, banks, corporations, and everything else. And it's interesting listening. And I noticed that he's caught the attention of the black belt barrister lately, particularly to do with council tax, and he's been, critiqued in his opinions on his videos lately, which I found very interesting. I did a video myself because I can see the whole argument within the system and the argument outside of the system. And I believe that, these rules are put in place to governors and everything else. And we all get done because we don't have knowledge. We all need knowledge so we can use their system to get our way. That's the way I believe, and that's the way I try and operate. Andy, you're classic, bringing this to people's attention. The child support, mate. I went to court with them over 10 years. I never owed a penny as I was a father for justice. Good for you, David. I think more people need to stand up and fight this. They really do. I mean, I remember it from the point of view of a child. My parents divorced when I was 5, 6, something like that. So a good 40 years ago. And I have this memory of them standing in front of the judge, sorting it out, making an agreement. And then it was all done and dusted. And, I grew up, life went on, and that was it. You never heard words like child support agency and all this sort of thing. You just didn't. And they've caused an awful lot of grief and an awful lot of trouble for an awful lot of people. And whatever I can do in 2024 to help expose it, advertise it, and bring it to everyone's attention, I will do that to the best of my ability. What do you think of the UN ruling Rwanda unsafe and stopped us from sending illegals there, while all the while the UN are sending them to Rwanda? And I'm not surprised. Are you? I do wonder whether it's just a backroom arrangement. We want to send them to Rwanda. Well, we don't really, but we want to tell them we want to send them to Rwanda. We need another excuse to make sure we don't. Here, you lot, sort it out for us. That's what that appears to be to me. Nothing in the media about the horrific things going on in this Sudan. Morris's monkey, I know. I saw that on Twitter. Some really horrific footage on Twitter. I'm not going to put that on here. I can't. I'd be history quicker than the aforementioned Oliver Cromwell. But, go and have a look. It's out there, and it really is horrific. And this is my argument with the mainstream media. Why don't you get told everything all of the time? Only the things they want us to hear so they can manipulate it and twist it. Really is bad. Really is bad. I, for one, believe that needs to change. Andrew Pierce, Happy New Year, Andy. My wife, Anne, and I enjoy your channel. Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate it, and Happy New Year to you as well. It's amazing the reach that this gets. I went to the cinema yesterday with my wife and 2 kids, and we went and watched the new Wonka film, like the prequel to Wonka. Well, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, should I say. And I was in the queue. This lady pointed at me and said, "You're a YouTuber." I went, "Yes." She said, "I watch you." Oh, my God. I come to the cinema with my family. I've been recognised. But it happens now. It's kind of nice. Not very often, but it's nice. And you can say hello and meet new people. Invest in 3D meat. Yeah. Well, meat is 3D, isn't it, Jim? What do you mean 3D meat? So we can make our own? What's that about? Always poo. Andy, why are you not working tonight, charging drunks lots more? Because I take people to the airports. Always poo. And I don't want to deal with the drunks. I'd much rather be one of them and transporting them. So I've not done a lot taxi-wise over Christmas. I've taken a step back from it, and it's allowed me to keep the other guys working, which is a good thing. Andy, did you see the darts this afternoon? It was an epic game. No, I missed it, David. I went ice skating. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Quex Park. I went ice skating up there with my wife and son. I've not gone ice skating in years, and I kind of got it. I didn't fall on my ass, and it was good fun. So I was out doing that while the darts were on. Best Doctor Who, Tom Baker and his scarf. Absolutely, Peter. I like John Pertwee, and the first incarnation of David Tennant I liked. After that, not too great. I got as far as Peter Capaldi, and I lost interest, but we'll see. We'll see. Jason Hughes, 20 mile an hour zones have been in England for a while now. Yeah, it's spreading all around my area. That it really is. More and more places are. Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in. That's for sure. Andy, do you think we could work together on a live stream sometime? Maybe about benefits and other things that our viewers will benefit from. Yeah, I'll be up for that, Bridget. We'll have to work out how we can do it and what you use and what I use, and we'll try and deal with something. Absolutely, I'll be up for that. And I want to see your channel grow. So, try and get you a few more subs. Always poo. Was one cut more? I was surprised. Actually, I thought it was going to be woke rubbish, but I thought it was a very well put together film, very well put together kids film, and enjoyable. Nice music pieces, good story, and it was good, and we all enjoyed it. And the popcorn, the Coke, the sweets, and everything else we ate as well. My God, my waistline is going to be terrible come a couple of days' time. Gary Thornbury, Ford and GMC are going under because no one will buy EVs from them. Yeah, I wonder why that is. That'll be a very interesting thing to look at over next year. I mean, Jeff Buys Cars has done a couple of challenge videos lately, hasn't he? I'm going to drive from Land's End to John O'Groats, or I'm going to drive from east to west against an electric car. We'll see who gets there first. Very, very interesting. Handy Andy, you're famous. I wouldn't call it that quite, but I do get recognised every now and again. The Who's Squeeze Box Brill. Okay. Mr. Unix Man, when you mention Quex Parks, bell ringing always comes to mind. Absolutely. And they do that in the I think they do that in the church just down the road as well. I'm sure they do. My mum will have to attest to that. But we'll have to see. Norman Hartnell, Doctor Who. Is that William Hartnell or Norman Hartnell? I thought it was William. You'll have to confirm that. The years of watching a Cyberman from behind the sofa. Absolutely. They were quite scary, weren't they? And obviously the Daleks as well. I mean, that's the other thing with the latest thing with Doctor Who. They turned Davros into an able-bodied person who with no disabilities. And Russell T Davies says you can't stereotype someone in a wheelchair as a bad person. Oh, hang on a minute. We identify with Davros being the evil genius behind the creation of the Daleks. We don't give a shit whether he's in a wheelchair or not. It's a story, and you just, I don't know. I could go on for ages what I think about that. Cyber them. Good point. Can't identify like that, can we? Naughty Andy. David L., you got a cold, Andy, mate. Same here. I did about 3 or 4 weeks ago, David, but I'd like to say I don't have a cold, or at least I don't feel I have. But lately, when I talk for ages and ages and ages, my throat goes. And I should be used to talking because I talk lots. Harry Smith, Happy New Year, Andy. Really enjoying the channel. Keep up the great work, fella. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate that. Happy New Year to you as well. I mean, we're getting near 70,000 subscribers, which is really great. And I'm hoping at some point in the next year, 18 months, I can get one of those silver YouTube plates that they send you when you have 100,000 genuine subscribers. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that have got genuine ones, and there are those that say they have when they bought a load of them, which is a very bad practice, and it needs stomping out. Andy, anyone got any New Year's resolutions? I've got one, but that's that's a private matter. But there's something I need to deal with in my own life. But there's one thing you must say with resolutions: either don't make them if you know you're going to break them, or if you're going to do something, make it a damn good one and work hard at it. Something you want to change. It's the way it's got to be. Tom Baker, I watched last night in a Hammer House of Horror classic. Love the old films, Andy. Yeah, I like old films, David. Old war movies I tend to like a lot, or old movies which are based on real events. It's there's a lot of classics out there, and I notice as well there's a lot of things getting remade lately. I saw when we went to the pictures and saw Wonka, they had the trailers, and there was one with a load of men and women of colour. And I was looking at the screen and I thought, this looks an awful lot like The Colour Purple. I was right. It's a remake of The Colour Purple. I know Oprah Winfrey's one of the producers of it. I mean, she was in the original, wasn't she, with Whoopi Goldberg? But again, it's another remake. There's a remake of The Fall Guy. There's a remake of all sorts of things. I think they're running out of original ideas. Yeah, that's it. William Hartnell. Got it. My New Year's resolution is not to spend another month in hospital. It's bad in there. Staff are overwhelmed. Bad system. I don't know your personal circumstances, Stuart, but look after yourself. Try and keep as well as you can. Do the right things. And, so sometimes your health and your body doesn't let you do what you want to do. And life can deal you a bad card sometimes. But you just got to try and do the best you can. That's all anybody could ask. Robin, electric cars will lose every time. You can only get a 50. Absolutely. Love it. Good comment. Absolutely good comment. Martin, who would win in a fight between Tom Baker and Brian Blessed? Do you mean a talking fight? I haven't heard Tom Baker boom, but I've heard Brian Blessed boom. Michael Hancock, think New Year will be busy for you on here. You ready, mate? I certainly am. And the airport business is waking up a little bit as well. So it will be an interesting year in more ways than one. Andy, do you think that Putin will come into NATO territory? He said he wouldn't. I don't trust him because he lied about invading Ukraine. That's an interesting one, isn't it? We have the media narrative of why it all happened, and then we have the truth. And, reality sits somewhere in the middle. The thing is, it's not so much if he... this is my opinion, I'm just spitballing. It's not so much if he went into NATO territory. It would be, what would be the reaction to it? That's what we have to watch out for. What would be the reaction to it? And then everything else would fall into place, wouldn't it? It is a concerning time. It really is. Do you believe in God, Andy? I've never been asked that by anyone on here. And I have a very simple answer. I don't know. I've gone through this life. I've experienced good and I've experienced bad in equal measure. And I've never seen anything that tells me that there's some supreme almighty being that controls and determines everything in our lives. But I can't believe that this is all there is. I believe there must be something else somewhere else. You can't just close your eyes at the end and then that's it. Everything you were is gone. There's got to be something else. That's my answer to that question. Peter, I got rid of my television and broadband 4 months ago. Did they have Zulu on again as normal? I've not seen it this year. I haven't seen it. Reform BBC. Hi, Andy and everyone in chat. Happy New Year. Good health to all. Another good channel, Reform BBC. And that's another one to keep an eye on. Very, very anti what it says in the title. And the last comment, Ryan, sorry I had to dip out. Did I see Mr. Sullivan? Yes, you did. He popped up to say hello. So that was great. And at least he's shown his face. And we know he's okay. So brilliant. Well, folks, it's an hour and a minute. Oh, Billy said that Zulu was on today. I must admit, I didn't see, but there you go. It was on today as usual. That's it. An hour and a minute. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening for this live chat. Just a little natter with you all. The very last one of the year. Would you believe it? Where has that year gone? Too damn quick, if you ask me. I hope everybody has success in 2024 in one way or another. And I hope the world doesn't go in the way that we'll worry about in 2024, one way or the other. Enjoy what's left of this year, couple of hours. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support and love you've shown me, this channel, and everyone else over the last 12 months. I can't find the words to say how much I appreciate it, and I will keep going and going and going, and hopefully some good things will happen here over that time. So once again, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you've just joined us for the first time. Thank you again for everything you do, and I'll see you next year. And it's not as long as you think. Toodaloo.